G'day crew, welcome to Goat Fantasy. It's the Round 15 Mailbag edition. Goat Fantasy podcast brought to you by checkmyrate.au. Visit the website, it's free to use. Take control of your financial future. Brandon and the team will help get you a cheaper home loan rate. All right, Drew Jones, your host in the AFL Tonight studio. We've just finished up the program. And some breaking news, which is fairly significant in the fantasy world, and that is that Bailey Smith has not made the flight to Perth and won't be taking on Fremantle for the Cats in Thursday Night Football. So he has illness and is out. So a player that is extremely highly owned right across the competition is going to have to be either replaced or held through illness and then through a bye. It's a very frustrating situation, and yet again, fantasy coaches faced with a difficult decision as to where to go with their trades this week. So in order to help through this little period, I've just opened up I've just had the Supercoach page open, and so I spend more of my time these days because the ranking is a little bit more palatable in Supercoach. So if we have a look at midfielders by total points, so Baz is number one. So Bontempelli, he's got a buy coming. He's not an option to trade to. Max Holmes, buy coming. He's not an option to trade. Zach Butters, a lot of us already have Butters in our side. Zach Merritt is on a buy. Lachie Neale is on a buy. Harry Sheezel we already have in our midfield. Isaac Heaney, Sheezel we have in our forward line. Isaac Heaney is on a buy. And then next comes Luke Davies-Uniacke in terms of total points for the season. This is Supercoach, of course. So LDU is technically an option this week, as is Clayton Oliver from GWS. They've had the buy. Ed Richards has a buy. No, he's not an option. Jack Steele, no, we're not trading into him. He's got a buy coming up and he's out of form. Nick Dacos, if you don't have him, he would be the perfect man to come into your side. Sam Berry, I don't think so, but he has had the buy. John Newcomb coming off the buy would be a value option from Hawthorn, but he's never been a consistently high scorer. Luke Parker, probably not for Baz Smith. Finn Callahan could be an option off his... he's had his buy at GWS, and hopefully he's coming into a nice run where he doesn't get tagged too often. Noah Anderson, someone I think we'll probably all be considering. His form post-appendix surgery has been fantastic, and the Suns have had their bye. A tough match up against Hawthorn on Friday Night Football. Sam Walsh off the bye. And, we're pretty much to the point where there's no more names you consider. So, yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it, with Baz? Highly owned, high-priced, and out he goes for Thursday Night Football. So we're going to have to get stuck into some options for Baz. But we're at the point of the week where we've got the mailbag here on Goat Fantasy. So I'm going to whip through these nice and quickly. So Tim Guest, one of our favourites, very sharply dressed man. Tim, hello to you if you're listening. He says, Tagoe illness update. So the Pies had a day off today and they trained indoors on Tuesday, so hard to ascertain too much from what happened on Tuesday. So him, Pendlebury and Sidebottom all had a flu and missed training on Monday. So tomorrow's the big test. So we'll get our opportunity to really assess whether Tagoe should be coming into our side. If he trains tomorrow, Craig McRae will speak. I think then we can know for certain if he is a risk-free or a possible move in our forward lines, because he is going to be a popular in this week, but certainly missing training on Monday just throws a little spanner in the works. Olivier Calvi says, hi Goat, thoughts on Will Day? The 115 v the Doggies with less than 70% Tolk has caught my attention, and he catches all of our attention because he's a very handsome man. He's a smooth mover. He's an excellent footballer. I think ultimately the issue with Day has been that he's always been a little up and down, and he's always been probably a bit susceptible to a tag. So if you're brave enough to roll the dice on him, he is well priced, but you have to accept that there's going to be the odd low score when he gets that extra attention. Hasn't really shown an ability to fight through a tag and still score well. So that's the big issue for me for Will Day, but he, quite conceivably could have a pretty big game against the Gold Coast Suns who don't tag. Nick Darcy Wilson Pod looks like he may have taken the Flanders role. Yeah, I like the pod option, but they've got the buy coming up, so you probably can't buy into him this week. But I like where your head's at. There's a lot of forwards at the moment who are putting their hands up. Darcy Wilson is definitely one of those after his buy. Adrian DT /SC. Clary Oliver, one of the top primo mid-targets this week. Already have Dacos, Butters and Dawson. Yeah. I didn't mention Dawson before. It's because I ranked it by points scored, and because he's missed a few games, he's a bit down the list. But Jordan Dawson is a must this week if you have Baz and don't have Jordan in your side. And Clary Oliver is absolutely an option. He's been so consistent, and that's what's made him a good pick this year. He's not getting tagged. He's not damaging, particularly with ball in hand, but he's accumulating a lot of pill. So he is an option this week for sure. Howie, he asked, De Goey, B. Daniels or Laird? Brett Daniels, I love this week. I liked him last week as well, and I think Laird is really well priced. Boosted by that big score last week, but I think Laird or Dacos in terms of Josh for defenders are a good option this week. Hawksy needs to pick 2 this week from Joe Richards, Brett Daniels and Phil Thorpe for Supercoach. Getting sucked in, or are these roles stick for Richards and Daniels? I think Daniels, yes. Richards, hard to know. He says he's a week-by-week proposition. He actually did a press conference today. But ultimately, when it comes to Richards, if he gets pulled out of the midfield, then he's going to be scoring 50 or 60. And that is a risk that you take on if you bring him into your side. So be aware. Brisbane, Fitzgerald or Murray this week? Definitely Fitzgerald. Darren, what's the status of Jack Ross? He's got a concussion. We'll find out from Uze later in the week, I'd say, but he's out. He's not playing. Thoughts on Kai Adnand for a defense rookie? Need a cheap rook for defense, and he seems like the only option. Already have Hall Kahan. If you need a defender, then I think he's your man this week. Unless you want to go early on Artemis, who will probably play after the bye. Craig, De Goey or Daniels, plus extra cash for next week? Daniels and cash. Jamie T, who would you rather field out of Laird and Dacos and also De Goey and Daniels? If you're talking about Josh, I think Laird you'd rather field because he's been more consistent than Dacos. But Josh is appealing because the price is so cheap. De Goey, De Goey, I think, from a scoring perspective, is a better option than Daniels, but he was sick on Monday and Daniels is a lot cheaper. So I guess decide on what you feel like is the best option for you. Do you need money or do you want points? Joe, g'day goat. Would you rather Naz and 4 injury trades or a Sicily, Ewell Blakey post-buy type and 5 injury trades? This is a Supercoach question. Let's see. Naz. I want Naz. Naz and 4 injury trades. Go hard, Joe. Bring in Naz. Simon Snouts. Can we trust Rory Laird? What changed and has made his scoring better? I think some of the scoring from the other defenders has flattened out. That would be my guess. I think it's just been shared around a little bit. I'm trusting Rory. He's a star. Cooper Harvey is an F7 move. Yeah, it was always possible that he was going to be a reasonable scorer. We probably need to see it for another week. But if he's cheap enough and he fits into your structure, then I like that as F7. I think that's a nice move. Fantasy Observer AFL, Pie Shaker, Ned Long, Sam Swadling games. Houston, Jacos, etc. Ned Long, I'm not sure. It seems like they've squeezed him out of the mix for now. Hasn't been playing that well. Sam Swadling's close to a debut, if that's what you're asking. And then I think Houston is a tough one. In Supercoach, I think I'm holding, but in Fantasy, traded last week. I think Josh Dacos, I think he's great value, and it's someone you can buy into this week. Digby, Sam Banks to keep his role. Yeah, let's hope so, because he's a really good value. I like him this week as an option if you can find a way to get him in. Brett Daniels to keep CBAs. Yeah, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. Played really well last week, and they don't have anyone coming back in the midfield. I think even if Cogs comes back, it's not going to affect Daniels too much, but they'll be conservative with Coniglio, I think. Podolski, job security, I think it's good. He played well on debut, and he's brought in to play that Jamie Elliott role. And then Ison, job security. I mean, he hasn't been playing very well the last couple of weeks, so I would say it's limited. King Gazy, Lairdy or Parker? Can't afford Noble and have Jacos. I would go Laird over Parker. Seems like he's got a bit more pop to his scoring at the moment. But Parker's solid. Very solid. Dino, only going to get 22 premiums. Already have the big 3 rucks. First option leaves me with 2 trades, and the other leave me with 3. So there's Naz, and then Pickett or Sanders in round 17. One is Jason Horne-Francis and Brett Daniels now, and one is Hayden Young and Pickett now. I like Naz and then Pickett in round 17. I'm going to click on that option for you there, Dino. Oliver St. Maurice Brassard, interesting. Durham, next week. I think he's going to be a good option for us. Josh Pavitt. Been said below already, but Jack Ross, TBC. Could mean anything from still awaiting last steps of protocols and playing to still symptoms. No update. Yeah, I should have said that before. I think it seems like because he's been listed as TBC, that it's unlikely that he plays, because if he was through the protocols, wouldn't you just say he's a test? But it also could mean that he hasn't had a full session, because you have to complete a full session before you can officially come out of the protocols. So that's a tough one. I can ask the question tomorrow, but we'll also hear from Uze later in the week. So let me get back to you on Jack Ross. Michael Tassone, Rowell or De Goey? Tough one. I think De Goey for the forward status. Thelina Garouge, Daniels v De Goey. A lot of elements to this one. Yeah, I would lean towards Daniels because of the cash. And then John Smith asked about Laird, who I think is a good option this week. Tossing up between Laird and Dacos. But I'm going to go for Dacos because of the cash. A question here from Mike Knight. He says, Goat, is it goal square mid-time for Josh Dacos? Does he mean centre square mid-time for Josh Dacos? Or is he due to play on the wing? He might spend a bit of time on the wing, but he's certainly spending more time through the midfield. There's no doubt about that. And he confirmed that in his press conference yesterday. All right, that's everything from the mail bag. Bailey Smith is out, and that news will be official very shortly. But he missed the flight, and the teams will be out shortly. So we're missing Baz for Thursday Night Football, and that is going to consume our thoughts for the next 24 hours. So I wish you all the best for Baz. Thanks for tuning in to the mailbag, and let's do more of this soon. We'll have Warney on Friday. Plenty more content to come. I'll be on the road tomorrow as well. So keep tuned in to Go Fans.